Congratulations to Curaçao on an incredible achievement. In only your fourth cycle as an independent nation, you've inspired us all with your deserved qualification to the FIFA World Cup 2026 in Canada, Mexico, and the United States. This will be the biggest, most spectacular FIFA World Cup in history, and your presence will only add to the excitement as the world is introduced to your talented players and your passionate fans. We can't wait to see you next summer and at the final draw on 5th of December in Washington, D.C. Congratulations. Bye.
All right, a lovely afternoon to everyone who has joined us on today's edition of the program Scoreboard Reloaded, right here on 32 FM 94.9. There you listened to the man himself, FIFA's president, Gianni Infantino, will of course congratulating Curaçao on writing history and qualifying for the FIFA Men's World Cup in the United States of America, Canada, and Mexico in the year 2026. But you talk about Curaçao. Well, you know about their population, 1,556. That is their population. And then the smallest country ever to qualify to the that's a FIFA Men's World Cup. In 2018, it was Iceland. But now in the year 2026, well, for Curaçao, should they be with their manager, Dick Advocaat? He will be the oldest manager at the FIFA Men's World Cup, also at that age, 78. So definitely yesterday it was a great time when we talk about football activities for the qualifiers to the 2026 FIFA Men's World Cup. Of the 48 teams that would participate there in the year 2026, 42 teams, they have already qualified. June 11 to July 19, 2026, that's the date for the FIFA Men's World Cup. And of course, there is a big draw going down tomorrow. It's all about the playoffs of the nations who definitely will participate in the playoffs. We have Iraq, Democratic Republic of Congo, Bolivia, Jamaica, New Caledonia, and Suriname. These nations would actually be vying for the ticket to play at the confederation, for the other confederations where we talk about to be at the FIFA Men's World Cup. But in case you don't know, one nation who did perform well at the World Cup qualifiers. Well, you tell that by virtue of their performance at the UEFA Nations League, they are also in the playoffs for the European sides. I'm talking about the Swedish national team. They lost the day before yesterday, and of course, you tell that their performance well at the UEFA Nations League earned them a bet to actually be at the playoffs, where of course they will be participating alongside Italy, Ukraine, and Turkey, Denmark, Wales, Slovakia, Poland, Czech Republic, Kosovo, Republic of Ireland, Bosnia-Herzegovina, Albania, Romania, Northern Ireland, Sweden, of course, and North Macedonia. Well, the draws are for all of these would go down tomorrow, and of course we know March is the date for the month also for the playoffs to go down. But outside all of this, we have the big award set to go down later today on the continent. It's the CAF Awards, which definitely celebrates African players for what they've done in the last 1 year. We'll listen to how that's the voting process, definitely what it's all about. Well, we'll talk about the African Awards. Remember, Victor Osimhen, like I mentioned this morning, and Ademola Lookman were recipients of the FIFA, that's Africa Men's Player of the Year Award in 2023 and 2024. But in the year 2025, well, I'm very sure we would have a new winner. Well, will I say new winner? Because Mohamed Salah also is on the shortlist. Mohamed Salah, Victor Osimhen, and Achraf Hakimi. These are the three players who definitely tops the headlines of the men's player of the list. But for Nigeria, that's Asisat Oshoala, who happens to be up next. That's a teammate, rather. I'm talking about Rasheedat Ajibade, the captain of the Super Falcons of Nigeria. She definitely made the final three. But we should be smiling home with the African Player of the Year. Well, we'll talk about that in the women's category. While in basketball, LeBron James, well, we call him the king himself. 23 seasons playing basketball. What a great feat. For the king, we call him LeBron James. He plays alongside his son, Bobby. But you know what this thing is all about there in the world of that sports. You want to play with your son, but we talk about his longevity as well. This man has won rings when we talk about the world of basketball. And then you tell that He has maybe the most appearance, the most points in the world of basketball. It's truly that's a legend of the game. And then we'll talk about Nigeria. Monday, we talked about Nigeria. Tuesday, yesterday, we talked about Nigeria. Today again, I've made a promise. And of course, we'll take a listen to the words of Bukola Olakwadi, where of course he's saying it is not now we should actually be discussing about all of this, because the African Cup of Nations is coming in thick and fast for the Super Eagles of Nigeria. And the month of December, January, we'll be playing at the African Cup of Nations there in Morocco. So all of this would actually take a look at on today's edition of the show Scoreboard Reloaded, right on 32 FM 94.9. And you are listening to the voice of Oluwatimileye Samisogidi. But before we go further, let's just start straight from the African continent. And of course, take a listen to how the voting works. That's the CAF Awards, how definitely it works. I have DOLAPO with me in the studio, and when we come back, well, definitely we'll start straight from that. Who does he think is going to win the biggest titles, the biggest awards later tonight, today in Morocco, 7 p.m. That's the time for the event. And we know how these things can be. How many Nigerians? We have Victor Osimhen, Rasheedat Ajibade. We have also in the Inter-Club Player of the Year. We have in the Goalkeeper of the Year. So all of these things, I think it is going so well for Nigeria. But
main voting round. National team coaches and captains, club coaches and captains, technical experts, referees, and media all cast their votes. Each one selects their top 5 choices, and no, they can't vote for themselves. Next up, it's your turn. Fans across Africa get to vote for the goal of the year. So if you spend all week replaying that bicycle kick, this is your moment to make it count. And finally, the top 3 in each category are announced on CAF platforms. And the winner, the one with the most votes, revealed live at the CAF Awards ceremony. And just to keep everything fair and transparent, the entire process is reviewed by an independent auditing company. An honest process always leads to a fair result and a moment to honor Africa's very best.
A moment to that's honor Africa's very best. That is what we want to do tonight, today in Rabat, Morocco. And in case you just wonder after the event why some won and some didn't win, well, it is all about the voting process. So we start straight from the men's category. We have Ademola Lookman, who won the title last year. But this time, Achraf Hakimi, Mohamed Salah, and Victor Osimhen are the front runners for the CAF Player Awards of the Year. So, this is what we have at this point. How far has this trio come? And who do you think is going to win the award later tonight? Good afternoon, Dolapo.
Good afternoon, Samis. Good afternoon to everyone who has joined us on the show this afternoon. Well, for me, I think this is quite simple. Mo Salah was very good last season, winning the Premier League Golden Boot. He won the highest assist. Yeah, he won the league as well. He was so good in the Premier League last season. And actually, for me, I really don't understand why Victor Osimhen is on this list. I'm sorry, with all due respect to his personality, I don't think he is top 4 African best player this season. But then he got himself on the top 3. I feel like Shehu Guirassy of Borussia Dortmund deserved that spot than he do. But then he got himself there. For me, I don't think he would be winning. And for Achraf Hakimi, he had a very, very good season. Fantastic season at Paris Saint-Germain last season. He won the league, won the France Cup, he won the UEFA Champions League. And the only competition they lost out on last season has to be the FIFA Club World Cup. And they lost in the final. He scored in the quarter-final of the UEFA Champions League, scored in the semi-final of the UEFA Champions League, scored in the final of the Champions League. It might sound normal, but he's not a striker. It sounds normal for a striker to score in almost every round in the UEFA Champions League. But for a defender, a right back, playing at that level, doing what Achraf Hakimi is doing, he's not only doing it for his club side, he's doing it for his national team as well. Morocco were the first team to qualify for this year's World Cup.
Without a defeat.
They didn't lose a single game. Unlike one man whose country couldn't even get out of the group stage. They went to the playoff, lost to DR Congo. I still don't understand why he's there. So for me, I think it's quite simple. I feel like Achraf Hakimi will be winning in Morocco today. He deserved this. This is the best player in Africa this year. he has performed so well, has taken everything to the eye, the best right back in the world currently. You can argue, but currently you feel like he's the best right back in the world currently. And I feel like he's the best player in Africa this season.
Well, discussing the big ones, let's also jump into the women's game. Well, we have that's our very own captain, that's Rasheedat Ajibade, that's in the list of players to vying for the women's game. That's talking about Rasheedat Ajibade. And for Rasheedat Ajibade, she's coming up against that's Moroccans, Gislen Chebak and Sana Musdi. Well, for these two, a lot of people also said, why do they have Esther Okoronkwo out of the final three as well, considering what she has done with her club side and also what she did at the Women's African Cup of Nations there in Morocco?
I think it's quite understandable that she's not here. Yeah, I personally believe she should be here, but it's kind of a bit obvious that she won't be here since the WAFCON, when Rasheedat Ajibade won the player of the competition. And I question that because I personally felt like Esther Okoronkwo was the best player, the best female player during the WAFCON, but Rasheedat Ajibade won it. And it was also a bit understandable because for someone to win the man of the match in 4 or 5 games out of how many games, so it was something you could see coming.
But we can't talk about Mission X and take out the performance of Esther Okoronkwo. Yes,
but the most outstanding player during the WAFCON, the Mission X, was Rasheedat Ajibade, according to CAF. To me, it was Esther Okoronkwo. She was the one that helped us. She pushed. She played so well in that competition. The goal in the final, the way she performed, the crosses and everything. She was so good in the competition. But then we all saw this. After every game, Esther Okoronkwo would have performed so well. And at the end of the day, the man of the match award or the woman of the match award will be given to Rasheedat Ajibade. So we all saw this coming. So that is why I feel like Rasheedat Ajibade is here. Chebak was so good as well for Morocco. They lost out in the final. They performed really well at the last Olympics. They were so good. But for me, I feel like the best player in Africa, the best player during the WAFCON, it's a WAFCON here. It's also part of the things you check to give this award. I feel like Rasheedat Ajibade should be winning this.
Well, for DOLAPO, he says Rasheedat Ajibade, that's a candidate for tonight's victory when we talk about the women's game. And so many things also are up. And then we'll say how Morocco, they've truly gone. In the goalkeeper also, we have two of their goalkeepers, Monia, that's Mohamedi of RS Berkane and Yasin Bono of INT'L are there in the goalkeeper of the year category. And then Ronan Williams of Melody Sounders and South Africa, they are also in the shortlist. But now we look at all of these things. RS Berkane, what did they do on the continent?
They won the
INT'L. They won the Confederation Cup.
They won the Confederation Cup.
You talk about
and he performed so well, saved penalties.
What did they do in the Saudi Pro League? They got to the quarterfinals of the...
He performed well for his national team, you know.
Well, and they got to the quarterfinals of... Was it quarterfinals or round of 16?
Round of 16.
No.
Was it?
Quarterfinals. They defeated Manchester City 16.
Yeah, that's true. The
quarterfinals of the Club World Cup. And then Ronan Williams, we saw him with South Africa.
We also went to the FIFA Club World Cup as well. Considered 4 against Borussia Dortmund. I can remember that vividly. Well, I think for me personally, I would have gone for Munir Mohammed to win. Though I have the feeling that Yasin Bono would win. When it comes to awards that has to do with voting, it's always going to be a popularity contest. That is what awards like this have to go with. So I feel like a lot of people would look at it and would say, who is this goalkeeper from RS Berkane? Where is he coming from? Well, it was so good last season for RS Berkane for a side like that in Morocco. They won the FIFA CAF Confederations Cup and they played so well. I would want him to win the award, but something in me tells me Yasin Bono would win this.
Yasin Bono. All right. For some of the other categories now, we look at Nigeria, Men's Coach of the Year. I know we definitely don't have that. We have Baptista of Cape Verde, Mohamed Kwabe of Morocco under 20, Walid Regragui of Morocco. But you talk about Morocco under 20. We saw what they did at the under 20 Men's World Cup. There in Chile.
And you also talk about what Cape Verde did. Taking them to the World Cup is not an easy task.
Yeah. So Walid Regragui also, you talk about the consistency.
Sorry, I think it's already a norms with Morocco. for Cape Verde, you don't see that every time for a country like that.
You say it's a norm. What if another manager and comes in and struggles?
No. Like the standard is high for Morocco now. The standard is so high in Morocco at the moment, and you look at it and you say, yeah, Walid Regragui should be doing this. He did it at the last World Cup. He's already becoming a norms. But what the Cape Verdeans did for a country that had to use AI to scout for players, look for players around, and look at where they are. They are the World Cup. You don't disrespect the World Cup. There is a particular giant of Africa that is not qualifying for the World Cup. But a coach have taken Cape Verde to the World Cup. It's not an easy task. So I feel like it's within the Cape Verdean coach and the the Moroccan under-20 coach too. They were so good. They played against Argentina in the final, and the way and manner they defeated Argentina, that was not lost in any final of the FIFA under-20 World Cup before. The second African side to win the FIFA under-20 World Cup apart from since Ghana did it. So they were so good as well. Played against USA, played against Spain, if I'm not mistaken, and they performed really well from the group stage to the knockout stage. They were so so they were so good in the competition. So I think is either the Moroccan under-20 coach or the Cape Verdean coach will win this.
Well, lots of categories in all of this, but the men's national team of the year, Morocco under-20, Morocco, and also Cape Verde. But I think this is obvious. You go for the title winning side.
Yeah, you go for the title winning side. Morocco under-20. But when you look at all of this, look at every of this award, you see a Moroccan national team or a Moroccan team in every of this award.
Men's Club of the Year, Mamelodi Sundowns, Pyramids, and ours.
These guys they're everywhere. This is what you get when you pump money into football.
Okay, African Women's Goalkeeper of the Year, and then Lamine of South Africa, Khadija Mrichi of Morocco and ESFAR, Chiamaka Nnadozie of Nigeria, and Brighton and Hove Albion.
She have won it twice. She'll win it for the third time. Chiamaka Nnadozie.
But the bigger picture actually needs to come in for Chiamaka Nnadozie in this category. And she actually needs to be up for the Player of the Year award also.
I think.
We know that her presence also in goal is an advantage to the Super Falcons of Nigeria. Even at club side, we saw her with Paris FC. That's in France last season. And she changed sides coming to the UEFA. That's the English Women's Super League in England with Brighton and Hove Albion. She has done quite great things in the WSL this season. But then this is just not the best. This is not where we really want to see Chiamaka Nnadozie. We also want to see her being nominated amongst the top guns, the African Player of the Year. And I don't think Africa should actually cultivate what we've seen on the European scene for so long, not having goalkeepers.
I think we are cultivating that already. I think it is just, that is one of the reasons why she's not in the list. I was expecting her to be on the top 5 list that came out some months ago, and I was shocked when she was.
Because you look at Nigeria's top 5. You look at Nigeria's running. Okay, they said it's from one particular date to this date, and you look at how she has performed.
She has been
for
very
the national
good.
team
and for a club side too.
For the club side.
It's not something easy to take a team like Paris FC to qualify them for the Women Champions League.
She won a title last season.
Yeah, she won the cup, the France Cup, the French Cup, Super Coupe, or what was it called? Coupe de France or thereabouts in France last season before she moved to Brighton and Hove Albion. So she was so good for her team last season, and she was also very good for the club side, for the national team too. Winning the WAFCON in that manner, the way she played for the Super Eagles of the Super Falcons of Nigeria during the WAFCON, her presence in goal and everything, I expect her to be high when it comes to women football. But I think there is this mentality of goalkeepers not being liable to win some particular award, which is not something good. But I think it is already becoming something we have taken here, and we feel like this award for the Player of the Year is for players. We don't really see it as an award a goalkeeper can win, and I think that has to change.
Definitely, we are crossing our fingers to see that change. But the Young African Women's Player of the Year, Nigeria's Shakirat Abidemi Moshood of Nigerian Bielsa Queens is on the list. Doha El Madini is also on the list, and Adine Diaye of Senegal also on the list. And then we also talk about the women's national team: Ghana, Morocco, Nigeria.
That's simple. That's just very simple. A particular side won the WAFCON. Yeah, Morocco were very good as well. But I think the Super Falcons of Nigeria has to take this. But
also crossing our fingers, we actually waited to see the team of the year, because last year it was not the best of 11 that we saw.
That was awful.
It was really not the best.
But then they tell you it's a professional footballer that boasts. I don't know what the professional footballer watches, because when you tell me that is our best 11 according to professional footballers, I don't think they watch football. But that is what we talk about.
The man who won the MVP at the African Cup of Nations wasn't on the list.
Yeah,
that's true. Second,
and
then we had the Koulibaly in the list.
That is what we talk about when you say a popularity context. It is just like, okay, this guy, I know him now, big name. He played for Napoli some years ago. Put him. This guy, played for Chelsea. Put him. So that is how this guy is nominated as well. We can't put Ekong instead of Koulibaly. Put Koulibaly. So that is how they just vote for things like this.
All right, let's switch away from all of that and also talk about European football. That's for the FIFA Men's World Cup. Well, already qualified nations of the 42 nations. Yes, I would actually read that out to you to tell you how truly it's pain. It's actually pain to many Nigerians. So for the host nations, the United States, Canada, and Mexico. Asia, from Asia, we had Australia, Iran, Japan, Jordan, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, South Korea, Uzbekistan qualify. For North and Central America, Curacao, the nation with 1,556. That's citizens, indigents, they qualified. Haiti also making a return after 52 years. I remember Haiti
for a country, like, I think this is it. For a long time now, I've not been a big fan of international break, but I think this week and the last few days now, it's been very interesting international break to see. Haiti, for a country that their president got killed in 2021, they've not played their home game at the national stadium since 2021.
Go back last night.
No, they didn't play at home. They have not played at their national stadium since 2021. They are suffering from almost everything. And again, they qualified automatically to the World Cup, not through playoffs. Look at the determination from these players. Curacao as well, a country that has 1,500. Even the population of people here in Dubai today will be up to 1,500. That is how small it is. I watched the game against Scotland and Denmark yesterday. I saw the reaction of the players. This is for Scotland that has not qualified for the World Cup since 28 years ago. That's since 1998. Look at the way they played. At a point in time, Denmark came back. As out of 90 minutes in that game, Scotland will be going to play the playoff. Look at that shot from 𝐶𝐈𝐒. Look at the way they played, the energy they're putting into that game. That is what you expect from your national team.
But then, it is what it is for Nigeria. From Oceania, New Zealand qualified. From South American football, that's Argentina, Brazil, Colombia, Ecuador, Paraguay, Uruguay. And from Africa, 9 nations: Algeria, Cape Verde, Egypt, Ghana, Ivory Coast, Morocco, Senegal, South Africa, and Tunisia. And in Europe, quite a lot. Austria, Belgium, Croatia, England, France, Germany, Netherlands, Norway, Portugal, Scotland, Spain, Switzerland, and then 4 more teams. Well, we definitely are from the 12 who are in the playoffs. Let's see how that definitely turns out from the European scene. Quickly, let's talk about basketball stories. LeBron James, the man himself, the king himself. He became the first player to take part in 23 consecutive NBA seasons when he stepped onto the court for their game in the early hours of today. They won their game over the Utah Jazz 140-126, but then he has missed 14 games since the start of the season because of an injury. But let's just enjoy a few of the highlights of LeBron James in the early hours of today.
Shooting the ball better themselves, though. They're up to 50%, 43-36. Biggest deficit was 11. Well, here we go. Welcome back.
LeBron, he does a good job in transition, both offensively and defensively.
Yeah, it really does. Lob underneath. Throw it down. DeAndre Ayton, the lob, and the jam from James. Now has 8 first half. Rebounds, LeBron for 3. Yes, sir.
Off the dribble, LeBron got his feet set and knocks it down.
Rebounds and 6 assists. 𝐃𝐈𝐒, not this time. Long lead by Doncic.
Fans that are looking at the history of this, can we take a step back and appreciate and see that in the moment?
No, not really. I haven't been able to do that throughout my whole career. I think it's something I will really enjoy once I'm done, to be able to look back and see some of the things I accomplished, and great group of guys I was around, coaching staffs I was around when I was playing the game. So I can sit back and think about what you just said as far as 7 guys not being born when I started this journey. And
all right, so there you listen to the words of LeBron James after his performance in the early hours of today. 11 points and 12 assists for the American. Longevity.
Consecutive. He has been playing consistently for years. 23 years is not a joke. 23 years. That is not a child's play, and he has been doing it continuously, non-stop. That is the consistency you want to see from sportsmen, and he has missed 11 games this season, truly,
14.
but then 14 games this season. But then comes back, and that was a very good performance from him yesterday again. I just know. I don't think is what he has done for the sport is something any other person can do. He's a legend of the game.
Being a legend, I hope one day we'll definitely be remembered for what we've done best. Thanks so much to everyone who has joined us on today's edition of the show. Well, I am SAMIES, your sports captain. I've done this alongside the DOLAPO. Do enjoy the rest of the day, and bye for now.